Alright guys, so in this video we are going to start looking at the two tkinter loop assignments. Alright, and at the end of the last video I introduced those to you. There's the match game and the slot machine. So this video we're going to look at the match game. Now some of you may forget the whole process of starting a new tkinter program, so let's just go through that together one more time to review it. Alright, so here I am over in Python. That wasn't Python. Let me try that again. There we go. I'm just going to close this off for the time being, and I'm going to start a new program. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to go File, New File. All right, and I'm going to save this as Slot Machine in my home folder. Okay, now for those of you that have been doing this all along, I just want to remind everybody that we have a folder which I'm just calling Homeschool, and then in here I've got my Python work, and I'm basically creating a folder for each of my 4 weeks. Alright, so I'm going to call this Slot Machine. Now I've already got it done as, Match Game. I've already got it done, so I'm going to call this like Match Game 2, just so I don't erase my original Match Game. Now you'll also notice in here, guys, that there's a series of pictures in this folder, and this is because when we get to the Slot Machine we need to have these pictures downloaded and ready to go. Alright, so you can find those on D2L. Let me just go back to D2L here just for 1 second. And there is in week 4 slot images. Alright, so if you download those, I'm just going to download them again really quickly. Okay, and then as soon as they download, they come down here as a zip. And then if you open that up, you're going to get the slot images, and then you open up that folder, and then there they are. Okay, so you basically just want to copy these right to the folder where you're going to be writing your slot machine. Okay, which for me is in this folder called Python Homework, and I'm in week 4. Okay, so I just pasted them here. Alright, so I can paste them again and just replace them all. Okay, but that's basically how these got here. Apply to all, replace. There we go. So there they are again. Alright, so before you do slot machine, make sure you have these pictures downloaded and in this folder ready to go. Alright, but we're not talking about slot machine, we're talking about match game. Alright, so let's go back to what I was about to do before, which was here in a new file. Right, and I'll just minimize a few things here, clean this up a little bit. I want to get the starting code for a tkinter program. So for that, we can also go to where the tkinter template is. Now, the tkinter template's in a few different places, but we last used it in week 2, so that's where it is. You know what, I'll probably make a copy of this and put it in week 4 as well, so by the time you see this video it'll also be in week 4. But either way, there's the grid template code, so we're going to start with this here. Right, and I'm just going to copy all of this. Right, I'm going to paste it into my new file like so. Alright, and that's enough to get started. Alright, so I'm just going to go File, Save As, and I'll just save it on my desktop for now, just so that I have it somewhere that it's not going to erase my other one. Alright, and I'll just call this Match Game, not Math Game, Match Game, and save. Alright, so right off the top, we can do a title, right? We can say like Match Game 2020 or something like that. Alright, if you want, you can put in a background if you want to. Now this particular game is going to have 3 rows and 3 columns. So right off the bat, we can copy this and paste it here and change that to a 3. And we can copy this and paste it here and change that to a 3. Okay, so we're just putting padding around everything. Alright, now we're going to have 2 defs, so we can go ahead and put those in right away. We'll call the first one match. Right, remember how to write a def? And for now, we're just going to write pass because we don't have any code for it yet. And then the other def we're going to write for the other button is going to be clear. Right, and it's also going to be pass. Alright, so for now, the only work we have to do is to design this thing to make it appear on the screen. Alright, so we're going to make the widgets here, and then we're going to put them on the grid here. Now, in the interest of saving time, guys, rather than watching me type it all out, I've typed it all out ahead of time, and I'm just going to show it to you now and explain it to you. And as I do that, you can watch, pause the video, and then get this part in as well. Okay, so here's a screenshot of what the whole thing should look like when it's done. Now, in this state, it's not going to work yet, but at least you've got the design part done. All right, so let me just go over this really quickly, you know, hopefully it'll make sense to you. All right, so we have our first LBL row 1, right? So that's this row, that's this label here, right? Enter a match number, so that goes here, right? And then you can see it, I guess, right here. It's in column 1, row 1, all right? Beside that, we have an entry widget. So I'm going to try to change color coding here, just so that we don't get too confused. So the entry widget with the width of 5 is this guy right here, and then it's going on the grid in row 1, column 2. Okay, so that's that one there. Then comes the add button with the command of match, right? So that's going to run this command when it's clicked. And I'm sorry, I forgot to change my color. Let's go to purple for this one. Okay, but that's this button down here, right? And you can see it's in row 1, column 3. All right, so that's the first row done. In the second row, we only have one thing, which is the list. All right, so we looked at lists a couple weeks ago when we did the Olympic weight program, and they're really easy to make. So there's my list box there, and then I'll just draw another arrow to this. This is getting kind of messy, but that's row 2, column 2. Notice it's like not in column 1, not in column 3, but it's right in the middle. Okay, so I put that there so that it would be kind of in the middle. All right, and then finishing off the bottom, running out of colors here, let's go to a dark green. So we have LBL tries 1 and 2. Let's take care of these two together. Okay, so LBL tries 1 has the words number of tries, LBL tries 2 has the text 0. So you can see that here, and you can see that here. All right, and they're in row 3, column 1, row 3, column 2. And then we have the reset button, which let's go with pink this time. Why not? So it's the reset and the command is reset, right? So it's going to eventually run this command up here, but in the meantime, it's going down here in row 3, column 3. All right, so that's pretty messy, but I would say pause the video and get all of this in, and then you should have at least this appearing, and then we will continue with the rest of the code. All right, so I will close this off, and we will go back to the slideshow. Actually, let me show you the actual program. I think I've got it here running so far. So if I just go back to idle, and I'm just going to open my match game, which is here. Okay, and that's basically the entire thing done except for the code for match and reset. All right, so you can also take a look at it here if you want to. And if I run this right now, I'm going to get this. All right, so basically everything that the code tells us to do. So now we just got to put the code in for match my number and reset. All right, so I'm not going to put that code in, but I'm going to go over it with you on the slideshow, because the slideshow also gives you some help on that. All right, so if I go back to my slideshow, which is down here in week 4, right, using loops, right, and we're going to the help for the tkinter programs, right? So here's the match function. All right, so this is the function that I'm giving you most of, except for a couple of things. All right, so let me see if I can take a shot of this, and we will just kind of go through this together. Okay, so this is all the steps that you need for the match function, okay? And I've left a couple of things blank here because I was hoping that you could figure out a few of these things on your own. All right, but I will help you a little bit with this too, just given the situation that we're in here. All right, so first of all, we're going to set tries to 0, so that's going to count how many tries it's going to take. We're going to delete the entire list, so that just clears the list out of any previous numbers that might have been there. And then we want to find out what number was entered into this box here. All right, so if you look at our code, txtnum is the name of the box that we want to get a number out of, right? So I can say something like, I'll just put it over here maybe, like my num, oh, this is in pink still, Now, let me see if I can do this a better way. I guess I can't control my fonts, can I? No. Okay, I'm going to use a pen instead here, guys. This might be a little bit easier. I'll change the color to like dark red, and I'll just do it like this. Okay. So this here would be something like my num equals int, right? And then whatever that box was called, I think it was called txtnum, right? txtnum, that's what that's supposed to say, dot get, okay? Now, if you can't remember that, we did this in the Olympic weight program. So the other thing you can do, guys, is go back to the Olympic weight program. Oh, that's messy. And you can get it from there, okay? So all we're doing is we're reading in a number from the entry box. So this would be how you would do it. Okay, this is how we always read a number as an integer from a box. Now, if that number is not between 1 and 100, then we're going to throw this error here. All right, so here, and I guess I can try to put this down here as a typing thing, okay? So I would say something like if my num less than 0 or my num greater than 100, right? And then we want to break out of the loop. Or actually, we want to return, okay? But that part's already given. So we're going to show an error we're going to return. All right, so that would be what would go in here. All right, so down here we want to pick a random number for the computer, okay? So we've done random numbers before. You can look at last week's random number generator that we did for the Lucky Sevens program, okay? But in case you can't remember, cnum, we'll just call it computer num, equals r.randint 1 to 100, right? So that's how we get a computer number. And then we're going to add 1 to tries, right? So tries plus equals 1, right? That's how we do that. And then we want to leave when the two numbers are equal, okay? So if my num double equals cnum, break. Okay, so that's what would go right here, right? So if my num equals cnum, break. Okay, so that would go right here. All right, so so that's basically what this whole def does. All right, so sets tries at 0, it deletes the list, reads the number that we're trying to match. If it doesn't match up with what we need it to be, we're going to return and leave right here, so we don't go down to this part. If we come down here, we have a good number to work with, so we're going to just keep picking random numbers for the computer. We're going to count that as a try, and then this line, of course, adds the information to the list. So that's where you get this try with the tries and the number. Okay? And actually, I just realized if I'm going to use num, then this should also be num, and then this should also be num. If I can change that. Okay? And then if my num equals num, then we break out of the loop. And then this line here allows you to go to the end of the list so that it automatically scrolls to the bottom, right? And then we report the number of tries into here. All right, so that's basically this program done, except for the reset. Now I'm going to leave the reset code for you to do as well. Okay, for the reset, you're going to do a couple things. You're going to clear out this list. Okay, now we've already done that up here. So see this line here? We need that also in reset to delete the list. Okay, we also need to delete this number box. Okay, and it's basically the same .delete 0 to end is how you delete this. Okay, we want to reset tries to 0. We also want to set this back to a question mark so that it's reset to the way it was before the program started. All right, and that's it for reset. Okay, so that's the amount of help I'm giving you for this one. Hopefully that's enough to go by and you can finish the rest of this off on your own. And I'll see you in our final video for help on the slot machine.